At dawn on Saturday, a small ship traveling from Miami to Key Biscayne was caught in a fierce storm in the Caribbean Sea. Among the passengers was Jessica Lane, a young girl from the United States, dreaming of spending a weekend in a tropical paradise. She had no idea she was about to face an ordeal that would change her life forever. The ship was drifting on the waves when the squally winds and huge waves hit with renewed vigor. The crew tried to keep the ship afloat, but the water was rushing in and panic gripped the passengers. Jessica clung to the railing and watched the chaos unfold around her. People were screaming, grabbing for life jackets, but the storm did not subside. At one point, the boat tilted and began to sink. Jessica struggled to get out and grabbed onto the wooden wreckage of the boat. The waves tossed her from side to side. By the next morning, exhausted, she found herself on the shore of a tiny, uninhabited island. The wet sand beneath her feet seemed like salvation. She crawled ashore and immediately lost consciousness. When Jessica woke up, she struggled to get up. Her body ached, and her thirst and hunger were making themselves felt every minute. She looked around and saw that she was on an island covered with thick vegetation. Tall palm trees and numerous bushes blocked the view, creating an atmosphere of mystery. What alarmed Jessica, however, was that the island was silent. There was no bird song, no animal sounds. She decided to go deeper into the forest to find water and something to eat. Her search was successful when she came across a small spring of fresh water. After quenching her thirst, she began looking for fruit. She soon managed to find coconuts, but their tight shells proved too tough. She broke one with a rock and savored the sweet pulp. On the third day, Jessica was bold enough to explore the island. The thick bushes hid many secrets, but one discovery made her heart sink. As she made her way through the bushes, she came upon a clearing where human bones lay. They were scattered in disarray, as if they hadn't been touched in a long time. Jessica noticed, however, that the bones were oddly cleaned, as if they had been nibbled. Horrified, she hurried away from the place. However, her anxiety did not leave her. What had happened to those people? Who could have left such footprints? Unanswered questions tormented her. On the fourth day, Jessica came across an old cabin. It looked like it had been abandoned long ago. It was skewed, with a cracked roof. Inside, she found makeshift furniture, scattered bones, human skulls neatly arranged on shelves. In the midst of this chaos lay a diary written in careless handwriting. Turning the pages, Jessica learnt the story of an old man who turned out to be one of the survivors of a shipwreck that had happened years ago. The first entries were full of despair. He tried to survive on coconuts, fish, and roots, but hunger drove him to extreme measures. He began hunting other survivors. His diary was full of regret, loneliness, and confessions of what he had done. The last entries hinted that the old man had died of old age, leaving behind this eerie island filled with shadows of the past. Jessica spent the next night at the water source, struggling to sleep. She was haunted by nightmares about the bones she had found and the cabin. On the fifth day, she stood on the shore and spotted a rescue helicopter in the sky. Waving her arms and a piece of clothing with all her might, she tried to attract the pilot's attention. To her surprise, the helicopter did indeed circle the island. A few hours later, a rescue boat came to the shore. Jessica was rescued. She explained what had happened to her during those days. The rescuers listened to her carefully. They were amazed by her story, especially the mention of the diary and the remains. Back on the mainland, Jessica learned that the island was considered a cursed place. The locals told legends about the lone hunter, a man who survived at all costs. Researchers have confirmed that the diary belonged to the very same Cannibal. This man didn't just hunt the people who survived the shipwreck. He kept them for a long time as pets, so that their meat would last him for a long time.